Hello everyone, it's Esther here again and I am back as usual. In this video, I'll be showing you how to use Google Forms to create your quizzes. So if you haven't seen my video on learners assessments, click on that pop-up right there, yes, and then you can watch everything you need to know on learners assessments. Let's dive right in already. Alright guys, now we are on my screen. Let's just proceed to my browser. And here we are on my drive. You could start your Google Forms from your drive or by typing forms.google.com in your address bar. Here you're going to see different templates and you could also build from scratch by choosing blank. And when you go you navigate to the template gallery, you're going to see other templates. There are lots of templates here. You choose either one. But remember, we're here to create quizzes. I would go on to start my form from my drive. I am back on my drive now. I click on new and then I choose Google Forms, blank form, blank quiz from a template. I could choose a blank form or a blank quiz. There's really no difference between them, but just because blank quiz, let's go on to build a quiz from scratch. Click on that. It's opened up in a new tab now, and the first thing you want to do is to name your quiz. So I'm gonna type here where you have the untitled form, Edtech Simplified survey. You could include a quiz description. Now, if you're doing this for a class, maybe you want to include that this quiz is your, I don't know, your final, whatever you have, you can include that there, but I'm not going to include anything in the description. Now you go to your questions. We are still on the question tab now. There are many kinds of questions on the Google Forms. You could choose a multiple choice question, a short answer question, a paragraph question, checkboxes, drop down, file upload, whatever you want, it's all there. So we're gonna explore each of the question types. I'm gonna start with the very first one, short answer. What is your name? Short answer. I didn't have to change that myself. I did that. And right here, you could duplicate if you want to use the same question type. If you want to use short answer, you could just click here, duplicate, or you add a question by clicking on the addition icon. I click on the addition icon and then I use, now I want to use a long answer. Where do you live? Right there, paragraph. That is a long answer text. And I go on to add another question. Remember, if I want to use the same question type, I could just duplicate. Right here, I want it to be multiple choice. A question. Do you like rice? First one is yes, and the second option is no, right? And Google has a way of making it easy for you at times to just give you a default option. Like I didn't have to type no, it was there. To add option, all you need to do is click on add option. When you click on that, it's gonna give you another option. Maybe that was pre-populated. I didn't type that myself. Remember, it's a multiple choice question. You're gonna leave it as that. But for a multiple choice question, you have to include an answer key. Which of the options is the correct answer? I go on to answer key right here. I click answer key and then I choose my, correct answer. Now for this kind of question, do you like rice? There's really no wrong or right answer. You could leave it as it is, right? But if there is a wrong or right answer, I would go on to choose yes, and then I would do done. Oh, right here you see that you could add your points. This is a quiz. This is where you add your points. I'm still going to, talk about that later on, but just showing you now, this is where you add the points. Let's say the default point is 5 points and done. I go on to add another question. This time I want it to be checkboxes. Checkboxes allows you to choose more than one option. For example, what is your favorite color? And then I go red, I go blue, I go yellow. Interesting. And I have 3 boxes to be checked here. The learner can choose red or blue, or yellow, right? Answer key, you don't really need an answer key here, but in case you want to, you can add that. So let's say your answer key is red and yellow. Done. Awesome. Now I have a lot of questions in this part. I want to, create another section. This divider you see here is where you're able to add section. I click on that and see section 2. What we did before is section 1. We go on section 2, let's say survey proper. Oh, I caught that is survey. I wasn't asking you guys about. So survey proper. Now I'm gonna add my first question, and as this channel been helpful to you? Multiple choice. Yes. No. Maybe. Awesome. There is really no correct answer. There's really no correct answer. I'm gonna leave it without choosing the answer key. And here is where you make the question required. Do you want them to answer the question before they submit the form, which means that they cannot submit the form without answering the question? Now this is really good. Always pay attention to this, especially if you're teaching children. Children at times might not, they are not that patient. So when you make the questions required, they wouldn't rush or mistakenly submit. So right here, I'm going to click on required. Then the next question I'm adding would be a linear scale. Okay, so let's say on this linear scale, I want to know how much you like me on a scale of 1 to 10. And I proceed to add the question. On a scale of 1 to 10, do you like me? I want to include a description. Then I go, well, I am not bothered about it. I'm bothered about that. Alright, remember we're using the scale of 1 to 10. Right here where we have 5, I'm going to move it up to 10. Then the label would be not at all, very much. Your label would depend on what question you're asking, right? And this is it. Before we proceed, we would check out, we'll just preview this by clicking on the eye icon right here. Click on the eye icon and we can see what the form would look like. Awesome, this looks really nice. The questions that carry the red asterisk are required. That means you cannot submit this quiz without completing them, while the questions that do not carry asterisk are not required. You're able to submit the form without completing these ones. So we're going to return to the editable form now, and you can explore the other question types and you can add more sections as you please. Now we go on to setting the answer key, the points. How many points should each of your questions carry? Right, this can be done manually or this can be set automatically. Now, what do I mean by manually? You can impute each question points by clicking on the question as if you want to edit, and you go on to answer key. To the right, you're going to be able to type in the number of points you want each question to carry. Maybe 5 points, right? And then you can go on to do that for all your questions. The other way that I call automatic is by going to the settings tab, the settings option, and then you scroll down to default question point value. Only you can decide your default question point value, but I'm going to keep mine at 5. If you want to use this method, make sure you set it before you start adding your question so that each question will automatically carry 5 points. But if you know this does not apply to you, you can set each of them, each of the questions, you can set the points individually, manually. Now we are done with this. We want to change the theme. We want it to look finer than this. This looks beautiful, by the way, but let's say we want to add more life to it. You click on this customize icon to change the theme and to change the color, right? You're able to choose image by either uploading or from the existing theme. Now if you're gonna upload, make sure to upload a file that would not be cropped. So I'm gonna upload one of my images. Awesome, this is the image I want to use for my header, and it's rightly cropped. I have all the important part I need, and then I'm gonna click done. This might take a while depending on the size of your image, so I can also change the theme color if I want, but I'm not gonna change that because I prefer this theme color. Now I have to, because I switched my theme color. I'm gonna change my theme color to this purple, looks better. Then I'm gonna change my background color to this. Here you're able to change the font of your questions, so you could go on with basic, or you could do decorative, or you could do formal or playful. I would go with basic. I do not need any decoration. Now the next thing you want to do is understand how to get your responses. When your students have completed the form, how do you get your responses? By clicking on the responses option, you're able to view all responses. You can't see any here because no one has completed the form. But now I am going to share this link and I will complete the form. To share the link, click on the send button in the top right corner. I click on that, and then it's going to show me different send options, different ways I can share the form. But I'm going to go on to the second tab here, which is the link, and this is quite a long link, I don't need it. I would shorten the URL, copy and share with my learners. I have completed the quiz on my end, and the next thing I need to do now is to check my responses. You could check a summary of the responses, or you check per question, or you also check per individual. But these are not my favorite. These are not my preferred view of the responses. I prefer the more detailed and expanded view, which is the spreadsheet view. Once I click on this green icon, it would open up a spreadsheet for me. If you're clicking that for the first time, it's going to ask you if you want to create a new spreadsheet or if you want to use an existing spreadsheet. I am using an existing spreadsheet. It is very, very important to name your form or your quiz so that when you're creating your spreadsheet, it could also be named per the name of your form. Now I'm going to return to the form, and then we'll take the final part of this video, which is looking at the settings option, the settings tab. What do we have here? Remember, this is a quiz, but you can unmake it a quiz by tugging this off, but it's important to keep it as a quiz. That's the whole point. Now, this is about the grades. Do you want your student to see their grades immediately after submission or later after manual review? If you're sure of your point values, then you can do it immediately after each submission. But if the point values differ, then you want to do it later after manual review. Here you want it's asking you basically, do you want your learners to see the questions they missed, the correct answers and the point value of each question? Do you want them to know that a particular question carries 5 marks or 2 marks, as the case may be? Now here it's all about privacy. Do you want to collect their email addresses? You could turn this off or on, but if you're using the later after manual review option, you can't even control it. This is going to be on, because Google Forms or the quiz assume that you would want to reach out to your students with their results. So this is a good one. And here you can allow response editing or not. I like to keep that off. And here you can limit the response to 1. That means that when a student, he or she is not able to submit another. Right, now the presentation, this is the last part of it. Do you want to show them progress bar? Do you want to shuffle question order? This is usually very great when you have a large class and you don't want them to compare the questions, So you can turn this on, and then the confirmation message, instead of having your response has been recorded, you can change it to something cool, good one guys, or whatever you have. You could just change that to something more personalized. Alright, that is everything you need to know about Google Forms, when you want to create your quizzes. Wait, hold up. Alright, so I have a bonus for you, and this works like magic. Let's return to the questions tab. Right here, there is a place for you to include feedback per question. So I'm going to click one question and click on the answer key. And below the answer key of this question, there is add answer feedback option. Once I click on that, I'm able to enter a feedback for incorrect answers and correct answers. That means that for every incorrect answer, there's a feedback they get, and for every correct answer, there is a feedback they get. So for incorrect answers, you want to make it encouraging. For example, you've got this, something that would charge your learner up. And for correct answer, I like to use bravo, you're doing great, something they would see and they want to continue with the evaluation. That's my bonus for you. And like I said before, this is everything you need to know as a beginner using Google Forms to create your quizzes.
Thank you for watching this video. Do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe if you haven't.